Very good evening. I welcome all of you on behalf of Pusa Road CP Study Circle on today's webinar. That is the changes which are affected under GST from 1/4/2025 and input service distributors. And on this subject, our former president and brother CA Atul Gupta ji with us. I welcome you, sir. I also welcome Hemant Pawaji, Anand Duaji, Rajesh Jainji, and all the attendees on behalf of Pusa Road CP Study Circle. As the customary, there is no need to introduce our Atul Gupta ji, but for the recording purpose, I am introducing him very briefly. Gupta ji with statue, intellect, and quick understanding and sharp vision. CA Atul Kumar Gupta ji has been elected as president of ICI during 2021 on 12th February 2020. Having served the profession for about 2 decades, he joined the Central Council of ICI in 2013, wherein he remained a member for two consecutive terms, 2013-16 and 16-19. He got elected as Vice President in February 2019 for the term 2019-20. CA Atul Gupta is known and appreciated widely for his key contribution as a facilitator of the goods and service tax regime, particularly in its formative years. Under his stewardship at Board of Studies, the new scheme of education and training that was benchmarked with the revised international education standards was launched in 2017 with thorough revision of the content of the study material of intermediate and final level courses. He earlier has been the chairman of SAFA Committee on Education, Training and CPD and director of XBRL India and ICI Accounting Research Foundation ARF in the past. Under his chairmanship in the year 2010-11, the NIRC got the Best Regional Council Award. With his deep insight of the affairs of profession, CA Gupta ji has always kept the profession on high priority at national and international levels. He has addressed numerous technical meetings and seminars, conferences, and represented the institute and its professional initiative in the past, including those at Association of Corporate Treasurer, Chartered Institute of Taxation and Financial Reporting Council, ICAEW, Chartered Institute of Public Finance Accountancy, UK and American Accounting Association. A supporter of putting Indian accountancy profession on global map, CA Gupta ji has also passionately represented the profession on various international forums through a number of meetings and conferences and making impeccable thread. With this, I welcome you once again, sir, and over to you, boss. Gupta ji, sir.
थैंक यू सर. थैंक यू राजेश भाई साहब. थैंक यू आनंद जी, हेमंत जी, राजेश जी एंड सभी हमारे सीनियर मेंबर्स. सभी को नमस्कार. प्रोफेशनल colleagues, friends. So once again I am with you on this Pusa Road Study Circle. It is the love and affection of Rajesh bhai that very regularly he called me that if we can discuss some or the other aspect related to GST, and so it's my great fortune that he remember me at the different occasion. Friends, the today topic is though that the new changes which we are would like to discuss here in this session. But I can tell you that apart from the 3-4 changes which are there, like in the ISD, then in the hotel business or vis-a-vis the restaurant business, and there are 2 changes as far as the TDS and TCS returns are there. I feel that more or less it is now settled position in the GST that all the provisions are more or less getting settled. But though I agreed with Rajesh ji that I have to take the topic of the changes which are there with effect from 1st of April. But I believe that more than that, what is important that we should be discussing about the year-end compliances as well. Because if we will forget them, we will not follow all the compliances which are applicable or which we should be adhering with at the year end, then there will be a challenge in the times to come, because in the GST, you are aware about the lot of penalties, interest penalties and other, I will say the various actions are there by the department, including the we see the many arrests and other things are there on a regular basis. So friends, what I will do that first of all, I will discuss with you the some of the very important year-end compliances which you should note down that we have to adhere with. I will say that there are the four category of compliances which we have to see. The first one is about the reconciliations that we have to ensure that by the year end now we are going to finalize our financial statements as well. So what all reconciliations are required, so GST versus financial statement, or even in the GST itself, what kind of a reconciliations are required, that is something that I'm going to deal with. Some verifications I will also speak. Some filings are required on a year-end, filings are there. And finally, though it is late, if the session is on the 31st, I could have speak about the amnesty scheme that you have to pay the tax by 31st of March. But still no problem. But I will share you that some of the aspect related to that as well. Now, my dear friend, as far as the reconciliations are concerned, as we have completed now the year end, that is 31st of March, and we have filed the 11 returns already. Now the next return is on the 10th of April, vis-a-vis the 20th of April as the due date for the GSTR 1 and 3B will be there. But it is very important, we are going to prepare the financial statement also. It is very important that we reconcile our GSTR 1 versus 3B vis-a-vis the e-way data, vis-a-vis the e-way invoice and the books of accounts. So it should not be a case that in the financial statement, we are going to report a turnover of 5 crores, whereas the GSTR 1 is there for maybe 4.8 crore, 3B is 4.6 crore, and like this. So it should not be there. So there should be a sync. So it's very important for all our friends here who are listening this program that all your returns vis-a-vis the financial. Otherwise, there will be a demand in the times to come. For example, if the GSTR 1 is of 5 crore and the 3B is only 4.5 crore, there may be the genuine reasons. For example, you paid the tax in advance in the last year and now you are only raising the invoice. So I'm aware about that, but like we are developing a bank reconciliation statement, one should prepare a GST reconciliation statement before finalizing the last return, which is due on the 10th of April. And even by when you are preparing the financial statements. Now, if you will take care of these two aspects, that the final return you are going to file will take care of all the mistakes which were there. And the financial statement, when you are preparing, that is getting reconciled with the GST data. So I believe that whenever there will be audit which will be conducted by the department or some scrutiny, ASMT 10 will be there. So you will not get any kind of a surprises. So that's a very, very important aspect. I wish that everybody should note down. And all these aspects which I am mentioning about. Then the another aspect which is again very important is about the ITC. So yesterday also I witnessed a report. You are aware that we are using certain tools. We prepared some tools for this all reconciliation in an automatic environment. So I witnessed one case where the credit which was there in the 2B was only 10 crore, whereas in the 3B the credit was claimed 49 crores by one of the SSC. So automatically, if there will be such a huge difference will be there, automatically the notice will come and there will be a detailed scrutiny by the department. And in case there is a genuine mistake, even for rupees 1, then the liability of interest and the penalty will be there. So it's very important that we should reconcile our 2B, 2A versus 3B and of accounts. It should not credit of a different value of the credit, whereas we are claiming different value of the credit in the 3B or the 2A availability. So that's a very important aspect. I believe that we should be taking care that it should not be a case that the credit is more or we are claiming more the credit as compared to the available in the 2B. There may be again genuine reasons may be there, Rajeshji, that it may be a case that we have a certain credit of a reverse charge mechanism, which will not get reflected in the 2B because I paid the reverse charge directly to the government exchequer and I am claiming the credit of the same. But still, I will say that again, as a bank reconciliation, we are preparing. So prepare similarly a reconciliation statement so that there should be a complete understanding that, okay, whatever the difference is there, we should be aware of. Then, my dear friend, there is very important that the ITC ledger versus the electronic credit ledger. So if in the financial statement we are preparing and we are saying that I have a closing balance of rupees 5 lakhs, that should also be matched with the electronic credit ledger. So that is something that we need to take care. It should not be a case that in the electronic credit ledger we are showing only 3.4 lakhs and in the financial statement we are saying 5 lakhs is my closing credit. So that should not be a situation. It is a duty of the professional or whoever is signing the financial statement as an auditor should see that the ITC ledger is matching with the electronic credit ledger, or in case there is any genuine reason of a difference, that should also be highlighted and taken note of. Then there will be a case that the RCM liability paid on expenditure. So what I'm trying to convey you here from this particular aspect that you will be, so what I'm trying to convey you, Himanji, Rajeshji, that it is like audit. So there will be the many expenditures will be there in your P&L account. For example, you are paying to the legal professionals, or you are paying to the rent a cab operator, or to the transport and the freight charges. So you should do an audit of all the expenditure on which the RCM is applicable and whether the RCM was paid or not. So this is something I'm talking about year-end audit that one should do before filing the last return on the 10th of April. That, okay, if I have the balance, I have the P&L account available from the Tally, Busy, or whatever the accounting package I'm using. And we should be doing an audit that if there is any expenditure on which the reverse charge mechanism is applicable, whether the SSC has paid the tax on that under the reverse charge mechanism or not, is something that we should be evaluating and then accordingly suitably disclosing in our final return in case it is pending or there was an omission that or lack of understanding was there that it was supposed to pay but we have not paid. So the RCM liability will always be an issue which will be evaluated by the department whenever there will be an audit or a ASMT 10 will be issued by the department. They will certainly check all the expenditure on which the RCM is applicable, whether that was paid or not. So normally on our output liability, we will be complied with, but this 180 days requirement and the RCM liability, I witnessed that in most of the cases, there is a liability which get, I will say, raised by the department after the ASMT 10 or as the case may be. Now, my dear friend, there will be another case that you should be aware of. For example, we are showing that the certain amount received in advance. Now, the advances, you are aware that on the services, even on the advances also the GST is applicable. So in case in the financial statement, you are showing certain amount as an advance, whereas the GST has not been paid, then there will be a liability on the same as well. Though I am aware about the advances related to the goods, there will not be any liability because as per the law, the time of supply provisions, the liability to pay the GST on the goods will be at the time of removal of the goods or when you are raising the invoice. But in case of services, the supply of services, the GST will be liable to pay on even on the advances as well. Similarly, there will be treatment as far as the unbilled or the deferred revenue is concerned, because there will be a case, for example, you have an unbilled revenue on which you received the payment, but the bill has not been issued, or you have received certain money in advance, for which the bill will be issued in the regular time interval. For example, there is a invoice related to AMC. Now you will receive the money for AMC in advance, but you will be raising the invoice on a quarterly basis. So that is all a part of the advances or a synonymous of the advances in one or the other way, on which whether we have paid the GST or not is something that we should be evaluating. So that one very important point which I wish that everybody should be aware of and should check when they are finalizing the financial statement. So what I will suggest you that before I proceed further, that before filing your last return on the 10th of April or 20th of April, as the case may be, you should be finalizing your financial statement at least on a draft level and see that if any of these heads which I am talking about is getting reflected. In that case, we have to see that whether the GST compliances are there or not. Then, my dear friend, a very important compliance which is there, and as I mentioned you, that I witnessed in 90% of the cases, the liability used to accrue when there will be a ASMT 10 or the GST audit will be there by the department, that whether we have paid to the creditors within 180 days from the date of invoice. So I give you a case study just for the sake of my friends who are attending this program, that tell me that when will be the liability in the chat box or whatever way you wish to. For example, the date of invoice is the 1st of January 2024. Okay, and you received the invoice invoice received on the 15th of March 24. You booked the invoice in your books of accounts, say for example, on the 20th of March 2024, and you paid to the supplier. You paid the supplier, or let us leave let us leave this paid. So now when this 180 days will start, so when your liability to pay within 180 days will start, whether it will be the A, B or C. So if you will give me the answer in the chat box, I believe that will help me. So the first answer, so I believe that I'm getting the correct answer because I mentioned initially in my remarks itself. So in the case of so I am receiving the answer B as well, but I just wish to clarify my old friends, Harish Makkarji, Aviji and others. I'm just clarifying you that these 180 days start from the date of invoice, not the invoice when you receive the invoice. So even if the invoice is dated 1st of January and you received on the 15th of March, because maybe the goods. So somebody was saying that it is when it is goods. No, somebody may have generated the invoice on the 1st of January itself, giving you the goods as well as the invoice on the 15th of March. So that is something different. But the payment, the provision which is applicable on you, that okay, you have to pay within 180 days from the date of invoice, will start from the 1st of January 2024. So my dear friend, it is very important for all of us that we take care of this particular aspect, that whether I have paid all my creditors within 180 days from the date of invoice or not. This is something that we should be checking very diligently. I believe that the GST have the 3 very important registers. I believe that they are the soul of the entire GST. And if you are maintaining those registers, I believe that the 90% of the compliances will be taken care by having these 3 registers. Number 1 is the ITC register. And in the ITC register, if you are having a column of a date of payment, so automatically the 180 days will be taken care when you are having the column of a date of payment vis-a-vis the date of invoice in the ITC register. The another register is a stock register, and the third one is a fixed asset register. So these 3 registers always support the SSC to do the lot of compliances as far as the GST is concerned. So Rajesh ji, this will be the 6th requirement, that okay, you have to take care that whether the payment has been made within 180 days from the date of invoice to the supplier or not. And in case it is not, then before 10th of April return or the 20th of April return, as the case may be, you should reverse the credit whichever you have claimed to save the interest and the other penalty provisions which will be applicable in case of a failure to comply with this. Now, my dear friend, coming to the another point, which is again a very important point, is about the capital goods. So there may be a case that you sold the capital goods. So again, I am giving you an example, and you have to give me the answer. Friends, I'm again taking a illustration just to see that, okay, whether you will be able to give the answer or not. That I purchased a machine. Let me start the pen. So I purchased a machine 2021 for rupees 5 lakhs, and I enjoyed a credit of 90,000 on the same. So GST was 90,000, and now on the I sold that machine for rupees 1 lakh. Again, the GST rate is 18%. So I just wish to share with you. Now you have to tell me that what will be the output liability in this particular case that you have to comply with before finalizing the financial year, like the closing of your books of accounts or filing of your last return of the GST, which is due on the 10th of April. Can anybody tell me in the chat box that what will be my liability as far as the reversal as far as the capital goods is concerned? So I'm waiting for your reply. I will also calculate, because suddenly I prepared the question. It was not pre-planned, but I can also do the needful. Yes, I prepared the answer. So now you can give me the answer in case you are ready with the answer. So I received the answer, uh, 18,000 as an input reversal and 4,500, 18,000 as output liability and 4,500 as input reversal. Saurabh Jain has also given the answer of 22,500. Any other one? Because we have a gathering of around 146 members. So any other member wish to answer? I have received the two answers only by this time. So Amod is also again giving an answer of 22,500. And I believe that now the time is over to give the answer. And I just wish to congratulate all my colleagues who have given the answer, that all your answers are correct. So it will be the liability of 22,500 will be there as far as the selling of this asset is there. So somebody may ask me the question, Sir Atul, this liability, the machine was sold for 1 lakh only, and the rate of tax is 18%. Still, you are saying that the liability will be 22,500. So, my dear friend, as we are aware about the section 18, subsection 6, which talk about that the every asset has a life of 5 years. And when you are saying 5 years, meaning thereby the 20 quarters. So, the total credit which was claimed by the SSC will be divided by the 20 quarters, and whatever the usage of the asset was there. Say, for example, in this particular case, the asset was used for around 17 quarters, 15 quarters. So now what will happen that now 90,000 divided by 20 multiplied by 15. So it will come 67,500 as the credit which you are eligible to avail. So the actual credit you should have availed only 67,500, but actually you availed 90,000. So what you have to do, that you have to do 22,500 as a reversal or the transaction value, whichever is higher. So the transaction value will be 18,000 and the credit reversal required is 22,500. So whichever is higher. So in this case, it will be the reversal. So now what you have to do, no, reversal on quarterly basis will not be there. The question is there in the chat box that whether it will be a reversal on a quarterly basis. No. The moment you are selling the asset on the 1st of October 2024, your liability will be there that on the 20th of November, when you are filing your GSTR 3B, you have to do an additional payment. you have to increase your liability of the GST by 22,500 on account of sale of the capital goods. That is something that you should be aware of, and accordingly, you have to comply with this kind of a provision, which I just shared with you. So, my dear friend,
Atul bhai, can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
So,
As per your protocol, sir, I am available, sir.
A client of mine, he has the machinery installed in his premises, but the parts come in bits and pieces.
So,
And
what
it
you have to
takes.
do, sir, in case the part is of a less than 5,000 rupees value, they will be allowed to utilize the credit 100% of the same.
No,
But
no,
in case you are,
the parts are much more. The total machinery which is installed is about 4.5 crores. So कोई 70 lakh का piece आता है, कोई 30 lakh का आता है,
तो
and
उस
then they
केस में
bring
सर आपको
everything,
सारे,
and
हाँ
it
तो
takes
आपको
about
सर
8 months.
हाँ तो सर आपको उस केस में क्या करना पड़ेगा, जैसे जैसे आपने क्रेडिट लिया, लेट अस से इसी एग्जांपल में बात करते हैं, 2022 में कुछ पार्ट जुड़ा, 2023 में कुछ पार्ट जुड़ा, तो आपको जब आप 2024 में उस मशीन को बेच रहे हैं एज सच टोटल पार्ट्स को मिला के, तो आपको उसी रेशियो में क्रेडिट को जो है वो रिवर्स करना पड़ेगा. तो कुछ पार्ट्स के लिए आपको क्रेडिट ज्यादा रिवर्स करना पड़ेगा और बेस एसेट के लिए आपको क्रेडिट कम रिवर्स करना पड़ेगा.
I'm sorry, my question relates to the earlier one, the date of payment. Because the invoice will be raised to me for every part, and it will take about 8 months for me to have the machinery installed. Now, the product I bought in the first 2 months, the 6 months will be over before the complete machine is commissioned. So I will have to reverse the credit.
Yes. So
And
now
then how do I
what you
get the
have to
credit
do?
back?
हाँ, so what you can do that you can, आपको क्या करना पड़ेगा सर, आपको वो क्रेडिट जो, क्योंकि आप 6 months में पेमेंट नहीं कर रहे हैं, so you should reverse the credit sumoto, and then you can reclaim the credit whenever you will pay. So there is a utility available in the GST return itself, the GST system itself, that whatever the credit you want to reverse, you can reverse. You have to put in a particular column that okay, I am reversing this much of a credit, and whenever you will pay, you will take a part of that. You will claim as a you will do a reclaiming of the credit which was earlier reversed from that.
Then how will I reconcile?
सर रिकंसिलेशन उसी में बन रहा है अपने आप आपको रिटर्न में ना.
Okay.
हाँ, तो
So
आप
because
जो भी
my
रिटर्न
two
आपकी बच्चा देख रहा है उसको आप बताएंगे, तो he will show you the utility which is available, sir.
Okay, thank you.
तो हम बात कर, so I was mentioning you that there will be a very important aspect which we should be complying with, that in case we have sold any capital goods during the year, in that case whether any liability to reverse the credit was there or not, and accordingly if it is so, then we have to do the same as well. Then there will be another aspect which we should be aware of, that is the tax paid on the other or miscellaneous income. You will find that there will be an issue that you are selling the scrap, or at times you are disposing certain asset. So whether the GST is applicable on that other income or a miscellaneous income or not, because in case you will finalize your balance sheet and later on that income is not reflected in the GSTR 1 or the 3B as the case may be, then there will be a liability along with the interest. So it is very important that we should be checking that particular aspect, that whether we have declared the same or not. Now, as far as the this question by the Shubham, sir, should we show it in sales or input reversal in GSTR 3B? So you have to create your liability whenever you are selling the asset. I just wish to clarify you, Shubham, that in case you are selling the capital goods during the year, you have to increase your liability rather than showing this as a that the reversal of the credit, but you have to increase your liability because you are selling the asset, and based on that only you have to pay this, like somebody answered that you have to increase your liability by 18,000 for selling the asset and 4,500 rupees as a reversal of the earlier credit you claimed on account of the capital goods you are selling. So this was there. Now, my dear friend, coming to the next one, that there may be a situation that certain credits are stocks have been written off or the disposed of. So in that case, if there will be a normal loss. So as we are aware that even in the time of the excise provisions, that in case there will be a natural evaporation of the diesel or petrol was there was no liability to write off any ITC or but in case there will be abnormal loss, or we are selling the stock as a second hand, or maybe due to fire, theft, or any other reason, there is a stock which is getting written off or disposed of. In that case, we have to proportionately reverse the credit, which is very, very important that we should be aware of. So this is one that I feel that it will not be on a regular basis, but it will be there. Then, my dear friend, in case there will be a creditor write-off, what I'm trying to convey you that at times there will be a negotiation that now you purchased the goods for rupees 1 lakh, 18,000 rupees was the GST, you claimed the same as well. But now you are finally settling the creditor payment to 90,000. Now it will be that you are paying 90,000, but you have claimed the credit of 18,000 rupees, meaning thereby on the basis of the 1 lakh rupees invoice. But actual payment is only 90,000. So you are actually eligible to claim a credit of 16,200 rupees only rather than 18,000. So it will not be a case that, okay, you are paying 90,000 and you will enjoy the credit of rupees 1 lakh. So that is not allowed. So this is something that you should be aware of, that, okay, in case there will be any creditor write-off is there, then whether I have done this ITC reversal on the same or not is something that we should be doing a year-end reconciliation. Now, my dear friend, with this around 10 year-end reconciliation, which I just placed before all of you, now coming to the second part of my presentation, that is the verification. Now, my dear friend, this is a very, very important calculation. That is Rule 42, which is very close to my heart. That in case you are dealing in the taxable and exempted supply, then you have to do a proportionate formula calculation as per the Rule 42 and 43. In case of an input, it is 42. In case of a capital goods, it is 43. That you have to do an annual monthly calculation, and then, Rajesh, we have to do an annual calculation as well. So I give you an example. I am just asking you a question to my all friends. So let us have some case. So Rajesh, I have some time available. Okay. So now, my dear friend, let us assume that I have a ITC of rupees 20 lakhs, which is available to me. Now, out of these 20 lakhs rupees, I have certain credit which are of a personal nature. Okay. My turnover is, let us say, 10 crore. Out of that, if you have to note down, my exempted turnover is 3 crore. Okay, 3 crore. Now, there are certain credit which are personal nature out of this rupees 1 lakh. There are certain credit which are related to exempted supply, say for rupees 2 lakh. And then I have certain credits which are purely for taxable. So this was purely for exempted. Now this is purely for taxable, say for example 5 lakhs. And then, my dear friend, I have to this is something that, okay, I'm talking about. Now you have to tell me that, okay, for how much credit I will be eligible. So now, my dear friend, as per the Rule 42, I'm giving you the question. Now you have to give me the answer. That, okay, and let us say this is for only 1 month, for April 24. Okay, this is April 24 only. You have to do the calculation. Now, what you will do, my dear friend, this will be called as a T1 credit. This is a T2 credit. This is T4 credit. Okay, so let us, I have not given you that. This is T3 also I am giving you. There are certain block credit was there, sum of rupees 2 lakh. Now, you have to tell me that this is called block credit, 17.5. Now, you have to tell me that how much credit you will be eligible for. If you can give me in the chat, it will be great that if I can get the answer in the chat box. Any of you who would
15 होगा सर.
15 लाख क्रेडिट मिलेगा सर?
हाँ जी.
अच्छा, चलिए चेक कर लेते हैं सर एक बार के लिए. मैंने भी ऐसे कैलकुलेट नहीं किया, स्ट्रेट वे लिख दिया इस पे.
एग्जाम्प्ट का 2 बता रहे हैं. इसमें हमने कॉमन क्रेडिट का तो कुछ दिया नहीं है ना अभी. सब
कॉमन क्रेडिट
1 to 1 वाले दिए
सर. जो बचा हुआ है वो कॉमन ही होता है सर. मैंने आपको एग्जैक्टली तो बता ही दिया सर. So should I give the answer, sir? So now, my dear friend, what we have to do that for this kind of a calculation, just to share with you, first of all, we should see that what will be the credit which will be there as a C1. So my dear friend, just to share with you that out of this 20 lakhs rupees, I just see that the answer is there or not. So I received certain answers which are actually wrong answers. So let me give you the calculation. So out of this 20 lakhs rupees, I have to identify which credit will not be available to me. So just to share with you, my dear friend, this personal X credit will not be available to me, that T1. I will not be eligible for a T2 as well, and as well as T3. So practically, this will be a credit which will be available as a 100%. So I will not touch this. So out of this total credit, which I just mentioned with you, that the 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 5. So the total credit which is there, which is a common credit, will be 10 lakh. Now, out of this 10 lakh, the total turnover is 10 crore and taxable turnover is 7 crore. So practically 7 lakh will be available for me as a credit minus. So this is D1. Now the D2 I have to calculate, that is D2 is 5% of the C2. So my dear friend, 35,000 rupees I have to further reduce from here. So practically it will be 6.65 plus 5 lakhs, which was a T4. So C2 plus T4. So it will be 11.65. I believe that few of our friends has given the right answer as well. I just check on the chat box, and I received no, I have not received any correct answer. But just to share with you, my dear friends, you can see that this kind of the compliance which we have to do on a monthly basis since 2017, and today also our answers are not correct. They are though near to the correct, but the answers are not correct. So my dear friend, it's very important that we have to now what I'm trying to convey you, that this calculation which I did for the month of 1 month, that is April 24, you have to do this calculation for all the months: April, May, June, July, August, September, like this. And then on an annual basis also you have to do the calculation and see whether you reverse the correct amount of credit or you reverse something less or more. And then the final adjustment you are supposed to do in the month of April without any interest liability. But after that, there will be an interest liability, and the last date to do this will be the September. So my dear friend, it's very important that we are aware about all these type of compliances which are there scheduled in the month of April, the year-end entries which are supposed to be there, so that there will not be any, because ultimately what will happen, that if you are dealing in the taxable and exempted supply, you are supposed to do this all reversal, and you are not doing this. In that case, there will be an interest liability in the times to come, which will be there on the SSC. And then there will be something that, okay, one has to take care that, okay, why we have not taken this, and why the interest liability is there in even if it is a smallest one, though there will be the large interest liability which may be there in certain cases. That's why I'm trying to share with you. So my dear friend, this was there. Coming to the another one, that as I mentioned you, that you should prepare a very good ITC register, which not only carry all the details of the invoices which you have received, the compliances that, okay, the suppliers are not suspended, they are active, their registrations are not cancelled. Even on the another occasion, I mentioned you a utility wherein you can scan the thousands of vendor in a single click rather than checking one by one. There are the tools available now in the market. So you should do a kind of a compliances as a suspended or the cancelled dealer. You should have the 180 days column duly filled up in that particular ITC register, so that any liability of the future will not be there. Then, my dear friend, coming to the another one, which I just wish to you, as a supplier verification, I covered you that, okay, all the suppliers from whom you purchased in the last year, whether they are active or not, if there is any suspended or the cancelled dealer is there, you are supposed to reverse the credit along with the interest and penalty. You have to see whether it is a post facto or like after your purchase, the registration got cancelled, or it is before the date of purchase. the registration got cancelled effective from. Then, my dear friend, there will be a case of a credit notes, that in case there are certain credit notes which are issued by the customers, so you have to take the undertaking that the proper adjustment has been achieved. And finally, the fifth one, which is again very important, that in case you have crossed the threshold of a e-invoice, in that case, that is meaning thereby the 5 crore, in that case you have to apply, you have to make it applicable that you will be following the e-invoice provisions in the next financial year, that is 25-26. So this is something that you should be aware of. You may be looking into this year-end change or whatever you want to say, but I feel that this is something that we should be aware of, that okay, this is applicable on me. Now, my dear friend, coming to the another aspect, that in case as the Rajeshji asked me that I should be covering the ISD registration aspect. So as per the new provisions, new amendments which came, that the every SSC who is supposed to distribute the credit, so it's not a case that everybody has to take the ISD registration, because I feel that there is a some kind of a fear in the market among the SSCs and the professional that everybody has to take the ISD registration. I just wish to clarify you that the ISD registration is only applicable when the head office or the branch office, as the case may be, is taking the certain services on behalf of the branches, and then they have to distribute the credit. So it's not a case that the cross charge is not applicable. The cross charge is available. So in case head office is having certain employee cost or something and they are charging to its branch, it will still be there in the cross charge provision. In case the branch is the head office is incurring its own expenses and there is no expense on behalf of the branch, then also the ISD registration is not required. But in case the head office or the branch office, as the case may be, is incurring certain expenses on behalf of the head office or the branch, as the case may be, in that case only the ISD registration is required. So nevertheless, in case you feel that the ISD registration is applicable on you, in that case the ISD registration should be obtained, and accordingly the compliances should be there as far as the ISD registration is concerned. Now, my dear friend, coming to the another change, the rectification application, that you are aware that there was a notification number 22/2024 central tax, which talks about that in case you have to file a rectification application, so you have to file a rectification application before the 7th of April 2025, as being clarified as far as the section 16(4) is concerned. As far as the LUT is concerned, you are also, in case you are want to supply to the SEZ or export transaction, you have to file or you have to renew your LUT for the financial year 2025-26. That is something that you should be aware of. And in case somebody want to opt for the composition scheme, then that person should file the CMP 02 on the common portal, though it was due before 31st of March 2025. But even if it is there, that mistake is there, then also one has to deposit the composition scheme form on an immediate basis. So this was about the filing part, a few of the filing. The another filing for the composition dealer, that they have to file the GSTR 4 before 30th of April 2025. In case somebody want to go for a GTA, somebody is a GTA supplier and want to opt for a forward charge mechanism vis-a-vis the reverse charge mechanism, then also you are supposed to opt on the 31st of March 2025, annexure 5 and annexure 6, which you are supposed to submit. And then in case of a hotel, which is a recent amendment, which Rajeshji wished that I should be discussing you, that now the hotel service provider is also, so now presently what is happening, that the hotel service provider are supposed to follow the 5% rate without any credit availability. But now, as per the recent amendment, which was introduced a few days before only, the provision has been amended in such a way that even the hotels can also opt. So there is a amendment notification number 5/2025. Hotels, restaurants also can go for 18% rate with the availability of the ITC. So they have also the options available that you pay 18% and take the ITC. In case you feel that the ITC is more than the, because you have to collect from the customer, and so that is something they have introduced, my dear friends. Even if you accommodation rate given. So it's very important that you are filing the declaration in Annexure 8 in case you want to go for 18% scheme as far as the restaurant is concerned. My dear friend, coming to the last few slides, as far as this amnesty scheme that you are supposed to pay the payment on before 31st of March 2025. In case for the SC, and even if you have to withdraw the appeal, then you have to be 31st of March. If it is or LP is there, you are supposed to withdraw the same. Rajesh ji told me to discuss you something about the recent amendment applicable on the 1st of April. I just wish to clarify you, there are the 4 basic changes are there. The first one is the input service distributor, which I covered, the hotel industry I covered, and the last change is about the TDS and the TCS return is there. In the TDS and TCS return, so as far as the ISD, I just wish to clarify you that in case you are distributing the credit to the distinct entity, meaning thereby your branch office, then as per the amendment in the section 20, it is mandatory now to obtain the ISD number. The necessary amendments are also introduced in the Rule 39 as well. And wherever there will be a non-compliance, then the credit can be denied by the department, and also a penalty of rupees 10,000 or the equivalent amount of ITC wrongly availed, whichever is higher, will be there as well. So it's very important that you have to see that in case the ISD is applicable, as I clarified you, the ISD is not applicable on all the cases. It is only applicable when the head office is obtaining certain services on behalf of the branches and want to distribute that credit. In that case, it will not be a cross charge. It will be a ISD system one has to obtain. Now, my dear friend, I explained you that the declared tariff vis-a-vis the GST accommodation 500 the rate which the restaurant follow, that 18% they can adopt the 18% rate along with the ITC availability. That is something a very welcome change in the hotel industry, which is there. So what is the current law and now what will be the future law? So that it will be the PPT I will share to Rajesh ji, who can share with you so that it can benefit all of you. Now, my dear friend, coming to the last slide of my presentation, that is the changes in the TDS and TCS provisions. There is a notification number which was recently introduced, notification number 9/2025, where is in the GSTR 7, somebody who is filing the TDS return has to report. Earlier it was a lump sum basis, so nobody was aware that whether the TDS has been deducted or not, or how much. Now the entries are required at the invoice level. So now in the GSTR 7, you have to do the entry at the invoice level in the table 3 and 4, so that everybody is aware about that the TDS deduction. And similarly, in the case of a GSTR 8, the place of supply column has also been added in the table 3 and 4, which one has to be reported. So my dear friend, there are the one recent judicial pronouncement I wish that we should be aware of, that which talks about the Delhi High Court judgment, which is saying that if you are filing the appeal beyond 180 days, then the Honorable High Court mentioned in one of the case that it cannot be an alternative route, that you are filing the writ and I will allow you. So that will be a challenge in the times to come. One has to give a very justified reason when the Honorable High Courts will allow the appeals, this condonation of beyond 180 to 122 days. That is something is there. And one another judgment which was there, that when you are filing a refund claim for excess payment of tax, in that case, that amount will be treated as deposit, not as a tax. And in that case, the time period of 2 years will not be applicable. So in case of a deposit, the law of limitation will not be applicable, which is something has been clarified in that particular judgment. So this case, as I placed before all of you, that there was a delay of 210 days. The appeal rejected at the first level. So the petitioner was not aware, though the reason was genuine. This was there, and another case which was there, that the refund was rejected on account of this filed beyond 2 years, but it was challenged before the Honorable High Court, and the Honorable High Court mentioned that it is a deposit, not a tax. So accordingly, the limitation period will not be applicable in this particular case. So citation also I have given, and so I believe that it will help you in case we are filing any writ or any appeal as far as this excess payment of tax is concerned. Then this 2-year period will not be applicable. So my dear friend, this was all I discussed with Rajesh Bhai, that I will be speaking for 1 hour. It is exactly 6 o'clock, and I tried to summarize all my points within the time limit given by Rajesh Bhai to me. So over to you, Rajesh ji. In case anything is there, I will be very happy to.
सर एक पूछना चाह रहा था, जो ISD में आप कह रहे हैं इट इज ऑप्शनल, इफ द हेड ऑफिस डजंट वांट टू ट्रांसफर इनपुट टू एनी ब्रांच, then it is not applicable. It has branch.
Yeah, if it is getting consumed in the head office only, so there is no mandatory requirement that okay, you have to obtain compulsorily.
Like in the case of some C&F agent, some invoices they are getting released on the
my
head
only
office.
point is that, sir, in case the credit pertains to the branch, for example, you conducted the system audit of your branch, you are paying from the head office. In that case, you have to obtain the ISD number and you have to transfer that credit, because that belongs to your branch. But in case you have certain, for example, you have a security guard in your head office.
Yes, sir.
Now you have the GST, you paid the GST. Now it is not compulsory that you have to obtain the ISD number and distribute that security guard credit to your branches.
Okay.
So in case it is pertaining to the branch, any distinct entity, like a distinct person in that is called branch, in that case it is compulsory.
Sir, like अगर कोई बिल है उसका वो हेड ऑफिस के ऊपर ही ड्रॉ हुआ और हेड ऑफिस ने अपनी पेमेंट कर दी और आईटीसी इधर ही ले लिया,
वो एक्टिविटी पर्टेन किसको करती थी? वो ब्रांच को करती थी।
एक्टिविटी में द इनवॉइसिंग वाज, सेल्स वाज फ्रॉम द ब्रांच लेवल, इनपुट वाज देयर एट द हेड ऑफिस।
सर वो आपका जो एक्सपेंस है वो ब्रांच को पर्टेन करता है, तो आईएसडी नंबर लेके डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करना पड़ेगा।
लाइक कोई किसी का क्लियरिंग हैंडलिंग करी बॉम्बे में, बॉम्बे ब्रांच ने हैंडल किया, इनवॉइस बॉम्बे से हुआ, बट एक जिसको पेमेंट करी वेंडर को, वो उसने इनवॉइस अपना पेमेंट के लिए हेड ऑफिस में कर दिया।
आईएसडी नंबर लेना चाहिए सर,
और उसको वापस करना चाहिए उधर, ट्रांसफर करना।
जी सर।
हेमंत जी, ये भी केस है ना कि जैसे एक आपने सिक्योरिटी सर्विस रखी हुई है, आपके हर ब्रांच पे वही कंपनी देती है सर्विसेज, और आप पेमेंट हेड ऑफिस से करते हो, तो इन दैट केस यू विल हैव टू गिव डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन, तो आईएसडी रजिस्ट्रेशन लेनी पड़ेगी। अच्छा राजेश भाई, एक मेरी रिक्वेस्ट है, अगली बार अतुल भाई को टाइम की लिमिट मत देना, ये उस इतनी जल्दी में काम करते हैं कि आधी चीजें ना सिर से ऊपर से निकल जाती है।
सर वो टाइम लिमिट अतुल जी ने दिया होगा राजेश जी की जगह।
अच्छा ओके, क्योंकि काफी मेंबर कंप्लेंट कर रहे हैं कि इट इज टू फास्ट।
अच्छा,
माय अपॉलॉजीज।
नहीं सर, मैंने तो कोशिश करी सर, काफी स्लो बोला आज मैंने।
नहीं सर, 2-4 क्वेश्चन है सर, छोटे छोटे हैं, उनको भी ले लेते हैं। अजय गुप्ता जी इज आस्किंग वेदर वी हैव टू रिवर्स जीएसटी इनपुट क्रेडिट ऑन सीएसआर एक्सपेंडिचर।
यस सर, 100% सर। सो अभी क्या है सर कि अभी ट्राइब्यूनल का डिसीजन भी आ चुका सर, जिसके अंदर जो है वो सीएसआर एक्सपेंडिचर के ऊपर क्रेडिट नहीं मिलेगा। ये ऐसा बिल्कुल क्लैरिटी के साथ है सर, इवन सर्कुलर भी आ गया सर कि सीएसआर के ऊपर क्रेडिट नहीं।
रीजन क्या है
सर? सीएसआर है ना, एप्रोप्रिएशन ऑफ एक्सपेंस, एप्रोप्रिएशन ऑफ प्रॉफिट है, इज नॉट ए एक्सपेंडिचर फॉर बिजनेस सर।
जी
नहीं, वो इनकम टैक्स को परमिट करता है
सर। ये एप्रोप्रिएशन ऑफ प्रॉफिट है, पीएनएल के बाद है सर, ये बिलो द लाइन है सर,
बिलो द लाइन है। ठीक है, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन सर, मीनाक्षी आस्किंग सर, कैन द लाइफ ऑफ पार्ट एडेड बी कंसीडर्ड मोर देन द मेन मशीन?
सर क्या कह रहे हैं सर?
सर, कैन द लाइफ ऑफ पार्ट एडेड बी कंसीडर्ड मोर देन द मेन मशीन?
वर्ड क्या कह रहे हैं, कहाँ पे लिखा है सर? क्वेश्चन में पढ़ लेता हूँ सर, Q&A में भी। और हाँ, मैं पढ़ लेता हूँ।
चलो कोई बात नहीं,
मैंने
क्वेश्चन
पढ़ लिया
नेक्स्ट
सर। कैन बी लाइफ ऑफ अ पार्ट एडेड बी कंसिडर मोर देन दी मेन मशीन। अगर मशीन बेच रहे हैं तो पार्ट का कैसे होगा सर? तो
नहीं, पार्ट ऐड किया है सर,
तो
मशीन में है।
पार्ट ऐड किया है, तो मैं यही कह रहा हूं आपसे कि आपके पास दो ऑप्शन है सर। अगर आप पार्ट के अंदर ये है कि अगर जैसे मैंने है,
सर आपकी वॉइस चली गई।
अभी आ रही है सर?
जी सर, जी सर, जी सर।
तो मैं कह रहा हूं अगर वो पार्ट मैंने 2 साल बाद ऐड किया, तो अगर मेरे को उसकी वैल्यू 5 साल लूंगा मैं लाइफ, फर्दर 5 साल, तो उस केस में मुझे ज्यादा रिवर्सल करना पड़ेगा,
ठीक है सर।
क्योंकि मैंने उसकी लाइफ, मैंने एसेट को यूज ही 3 साल किया।
नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है
और ये
मैडम।
क्वेश्चन है नेक्स्ट की, आपको रिवर्सल ऑन आईटीसी। तो मेरे पास
जी।
अगर सपोज ये कि ऐसा केस है ऑब्सलीट हो गया, तो ऑब्सलीट दो तरह के हैं, एक है नॉर्मल ऑब्सलीट हुआ, और एक है कि मेरा जो है वो एबनॉर्मल ऑब्सलीट हो गया। तो जैसे मैं आपको बताता हूं कि अगर मैंने 100 लीटर डीजल खरीदा, अभी डीजल पे जीएसटी नहीं है, पर एग्जांपल के लिए समझिए, मैंने 100 लीटर डीजल खरीदा, मेरा ओपन में रखा हुआ है, ऑटोमेटिकली इवेपोरेट होता है डीजल, तो वो 99 लीटर रह गया, तो मुझे 1 लीटर पे क्रेडिट रिवर्स नहीं करना है। लेकिन अगर सपोज कीजिए 100 लीटर के डीजल में आग लग गई, ठीक है साहब, और वो 10 लीटर ही बचा, 90 लीटर वो फायर में हो गया, तो मुझे उस केस में एबनॉर्मल लॉस के लिए, तो सेम बात है एबनॉर्मल ऑब्सलीट होने के केस में भी, कि अगर मेरा कोई जो है वो एक मेरा नॉर्मल लिमिट के अंदर ऑब्सलीट हो रहा है, तो मुझे क्रेडिट रिवर्स नहीं करना है।
सर एक मेडिसिन के केस में, अगर ट्रेडर के केस में अगर
तो उस
एक्सपायर हो
केस के
जाती है
अंदर तो
मेडिसिन,
केमिस्ट
एक्सपायर
का सर
मेडिसिन
अलग
होती
से
है तो
आया हुआ
उसके
है ना,
लिए।
क्योंकि मैन्युफैक्चरिंग जो है वो करेगी सर, वो तो आया ही हुआ है सर।
हाँ जी।
उसके बाद वी एंगेज कंसल्टेंट फॉर मल्टीपल जीएसटी, आर वी रिक्वायर्ड टू टेक दी आईएसडी। तो अगर आपको उस केस में अगर वो 10 ब्रांचों की कोई सर्विस दे रहा है, स्टॉक ऑडिट करता है या कुछ भी करता है, तो उस केस में आपको आईएसडी नंबर लेके वो सारी ब्रांचों को क्रेडिट डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करना ही पड़ेगा। इसके
तो
बाद
यहाँ
कहते हैं
पर
कि मीनाक्षी
यहाँ
जी का आंसर मैंने दे दिया ऑडिट वाला भी। सौरभ जैन जी, हाउ टू अकाउंट फॉर जीएसटी इफ क्रेडिट नोट आर रिजेक्टेड, इट वुड इंक्रीज सेल्स इन द नेक्स्ट मंथ बी वेदर वी कैन गेट रिफंड ऑफ द सेम। तो आप रिफंड भी ले भी जा सकते हैं, कि अगर आपको ऐसा लगता है कि आपका जो है वो क्रेडिट नोट की वजह से आपकी लायबिलिटी कम हो गई है और आपको उसका रिफंड मिलना चाहिए, यू कैन गो फॉर दैट एज वेल। सो देर इज नो नथिंग कि भाई आप नहीं जा सकते। One of my client has only interest demand, no tax is demand in GSTR 7. How we can apply for amnesty scheme? अजय जी, मेरा ये कहना है कि अगर आपकी खाली इंटरेस्ट की डिमांड है तो भी आप उसके लिए एमनेस्टी स्कीम के लिए जा सकते हैं। अब एग्जैक्टली आपका क्या वो है, पहली बात तो 31 दिन निकल गई, ठीक है साहब, लेकिन अगर आपको मतलब एग्जैक्टली क्वेश्चन पूछना है तो अनमोल इसको हैंडल करता है, मैं आप उसका नंबर लिख देता हूँ, आप चाहे तो नोट कर लें, 9871001555, 9871001555। आप एक बार के लिए उससे बात कर लीजिएगा। उसके बाद है सुमित जी का, वी हैव ए फर्म विच हैज ए हेड ऑफिस एंड सिंगल ब्रांच इन ए डिफरेंट स्टेट। तो अगेन मैं बोल रहा हूं सुमित जी, अगर आप ब्रांच के बिहाफ पे हेड ऑफिस में कोई खर्चा कर रहे हो तो आपको आईएसडी नंबर लेना होगा, अदरवाइज आपको नंबर लेने की जरूरत नहीं है। पवन गुलाटी जी पूछते हैं, सर इफ द सप्लायर इज सेटल्ड एंड सप्लायर गिव अस अ क्रेडिट नोट विदाउट रिवर्सिंग जीएसटी, तो उस केस में आपको जरूरत नहीं है कि अगर आपका जो है वो क्रेडिट नोट जो है वो विदाउट जीएसटी का है, तो उस केस के अंदर तो आप देखिए, मेरी बात को समझिए पवन जी, मैंने अगर मान लीजिए राजेश जी को एक बिल काटा 1 लाख रुपए का, और उन्होंने 18,000 का क्रेडिट ले लिया, ठीक है साहब, और मैंने 18,000 रुपए की लायबिलिटी गवर्नमेंट को पे कर दी। अब मैं ऐसा नहीं कर सकता हूं कि वहां लायबिलिटी कम हो जाए और यहां पर मैं क्रेडिट ज्यादा, तो मैं उनको क्रेडिट नोट इशू कर दूं, ठीक है साहब, तो मेरी तो अपनी लायबिलिटी कम कर ली, और राजेश जी जो है वो अपनी वो पूरा क्रेडिट एंजॉय करते रहे, तो दैट इज नॉट अलाउड। सिंपल गणित समझिए। तो इसलिए जो है वो आपको जो है वो ये समझना पड़ेगा कि अगर मैं ऐसा कर रहा हूं तो सामने वाले को भी अपना क्रेडिट जो है वो रिवर्स करना पड़ेगा, और आप इसके लिए स्पेसिफिक प्रोविजन आ गए हैं कि सामने वाला उसके अंदर सिस्टम में आईएमएस में एक्सेप्ट करेगा, तभी उसका क्रेडिट जो है वो आपको बेनिफिट मिलेगा सप्लायर को। मोबाइल नंबर है सर 9871001555, ये अनमोल का नंबर है, अपने वो एमनेस्टी स्कीम से रिलेटेड देख रहा है, तो इसलिए मैंने आपको नंबर बताया उसका, ये मेरा नंबर नहीं है सर, मैं जस्ट टू क्लैरिफाई यू, मेरा नंबर सबको पता है, पर मैं फिर भी। अगला क्वेश्चन है सुमित गुप्ता जी का, कैन आईटीसी बी क्लेम्ड ऑन कंस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ कमर्शियल प्रॉपर्टी विच इज कंप्लीटली लेट आउट? द आंसर इज नो। अभी तो आपके सामने आ गया सर, सफारी रिट्रीट का जजमेंट आया था, आपके फेवर में आया था, लेकिन बाद में जो है वो हमारे डिपार्ट जो सीबीआईसी है या जो हमारी मिनिस्ट्री है उन्होंने ऑलरेडी ये प्रोविजन जो है वो रिट्रोस्पेक्टिव इफेक्ट से अमेंड कर दिया और प्लांट और मशीनरी को प्लांट और मशीनरी कर दिया, मीनिंग देयर बाय यू कैन नॉट क्लेम। सो प्लीज ध्यान रखिए सुमित जी, क्रेडिट नहीं मिलेगा। अननेसेसरी लेके इंटरेस्ट लायबिलिटी मत क्रिएट करिएगा अपनी पेनल्टी की। सौरभ जैन जी पूछते हैं अपील अगेंस्ट पेनल्टी डिमांड इज टू बी फाइल्ड वेदर अपील। सो अभी आपको 10% नहीं देने हैं सौरभ जी। ये सौरभ जी जब 10% का प्रोविजन जिस दिन से एप्लीकेबल होगा, मे बी सितंबर अक्टूबर से, तब आपको उस केस में 10% ऑफ दी पेनल्टी जमा कराना है। आज आपको जमा नहीं कराना है। और एक और बात क्लैरिफाई कर दूं, आपको जो है वो अगर टैक्स भी है और पेनल्टी भी है किसी केस में, तो खाली टैक्स का 10% होगा, उस केस में पेनल्टी का 10% नहीं होगा। जहां पर टैक्स की डिमांड 0 है, खाली पेनल्टी की अमाउंट की डिमांड है, वहां पर आपको 10% पेनल्टी लगेगी। वो भी कब से? जब ये प्रोविजन एप्लीकेबल हो जाएगा। आज वो एप्लीकेबल आज भी नहीं।
सर
मैंने
एक
सर आंसर आपके दे दिए सर, जो भी क्वेश्चंस थे।
सर एक केस में जैसे मेडिकल स्टोर है, उसकी मेडिसिन एक्सपायर हो जाती है, तो दैट विल बी ट्रीटेड एज ए नॉर्मल लॉस, उसमें रिवर्स करना पड़ेगा
सर
कि?
वो ऑलरेडी उसके लिए आ गया है कि जो अपने मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपनी है ना,
हाँ
वो
जी।
उसके लिए नेसेसरी प्रोविजंस फॉलो करेगी, क्योंकि ये नॉर्मल लॉस नहीं होता है सर, ये आपका नॉर्मल लॉस ही होता है सर।
नहीं, ट्रेडर के केस में क्या होगा?
हाँ, मैं आप केमिस्ट की बात कर रहा हूँ सर, ट्रेडर की
हाँ
बात
जी।
कर रहा हूँ। उस केस में मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपनी के लिए एक वो आया है। मैं हेमंत जी आपको, मेरे को व्हाट्सएप डाल दीजिएगा, मैं आपको भेज दूंगा प्रोविजन। उन्होंने अलग से एक पूरी स्कीम बना के दी हुई है इसके लिए।
ओके।
हो गए सारे क्वेश्चन सर?
मेरे पास सर, मैंने जितने भी थे मैंने सारे कर दिए सर आंसर सर।
एक्साइज सिलेंडर
अभी
कैन
मैं
आईटीसी बी क्लेम्ड ऑन फॉर रेंटिंग ऑफ इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी?
कहाँ पे है जी क्वेश्चन ये?
शैलेंद्र गुप्ता जी का है। कैन
Q&A में कहाँ
आईटीसी
पे है सर? Q&A में है?
Q&A में
एक मिनट मैं देखता हूँ सर, मैं ढूंढता हूँ सर।
जो बचे हैं वो देखना सर।
हरीश जी कहाँ कह रहे हैं? हाँ,
हरीश जी
हरीश
के
जी
नीचे, हाँ।
जीएसटी इनपुट इज अवेलेबल ऑन रिपेयर ऑफ फैक्ट्री बिल्डिंग। यस, ये अवेलेबल है रिपेयर के लिए, लेकिन आपने उसको कैपिटलाइज करा अगर रिपेयर एक्सपेंस को, तो क्रेडिट नहीं मिलेगा हरीश जी। अगर आपने उसको रेवेन्यू नेचर में डाला तो आपको उसका क्रेडिट मिल जाएगा। शैलेंद्र जी आपको मैं बता दूं, कैन आईटीसी बी क्लेम्ड फॉर रेंटिंग ऑफ इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी? द आंसर इज यस। पर किसका? अगर आप राजेश अग्रवाल जी को ऑडिट फीस दे रहे हो तो क्रेडिट मिल जाएगा, लेकिन अगर आप बिल्डिंग खरीद रहे हैं तो उसका क्रेडिट नहीं मिलेगा। तो मैं आपको ये दोबारा दोबारा क्लैरिफाई कर रहा हूँ शैलेंद्र जी, कि अगर हम कोई बिल्डिंग खरीद रहे हैं, उस पर जीएसटी पे कर रहे हैं, बिल्डिंग बनवा रहे हैं उस पर जीएसटी पे कर रहे हैं, उसका क्रेडिट नहीं मिलेगा। आपको रूटीन के खर्चे हैं, ऑडिट फीस है, कंसल्टेंट फीस है, सिक्योरिटी गार्ड है, उसका क्रेडिट मिल जाएगा।
सर उसकी कोई इनकम नहीं हो, सिर्फ रेंटल इनकम हो, तब भी मिल जाएगा?
हाँ, तभी मिल जाएगा। किस चीज का क्रेडिट? सिक्योरिटी गार्ड का मिल जाएगा।
कंसल्टेंट का जैसे कोई फीस
मिल
देते हैं,
जाएगा।
कोई
एक
मोटर
एक
मशीन
शुभम
में?
जी का क्वेश्चन और आया है सर, लास्ट ले
If
लो
we
शुभम
take
जी का।
ISD registration as well as normal GSTN, then the service procurement invoice where whose ITC is to be distributed, will the client have to get his normal GSTN of Delhi written as ISD number on the supplier's invoice? अगर आप जो है वो सप्लायर को बता सकते हैं आईएसडी नंबर दे दीजिए, डायरेक्टली वो इस पर क्रेडिट आ जाएगा, वहां से आप डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर सकते हैं। नॉर्मल नंबर देने की जरूरत नहीं है। लेकिन अगर आपने आरसीएम की कोई सर्विस ली है तो वो आईएसडी में पे नहीं हो रही है, उस केस में आपको नॉर्मल में पे करना पड़ेगा, और फिर बाद में उसको आईएसडी में शिफ्ट करके फिर उसका क्रेडिट डिस्ट्रीब्यूट होगा जी। ये मैंने आपको लास्ट सेशन में बताया था। ये टेक्निकल प्रॉब्लम है, ये लीगल प्रॉब्लम नहीं है
सर थैंक यू। और हमारे राजेश जी का भी एक क्वेश्चन है, उन्होंने हैंड रेज
मैं
कर रखा
आंसर
है
दे चुका जी राजेश
पैनलिस्ट
का
में।
आंसर की ऑडिट फीस अगर हेड ऑफिस की, नॉर्मली क्या होता है ये हेड ऑफिस की जिम्मेवारी होती है, इसलिए इसको आईएसडी में बांटने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है, क्योंकि ये ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ द ब्रांचेस नहीं होती है नॉर्मली ना, ये बात मैं कहूंगा। और अजय जी आपका अगला क्वेश्चन है, आईटीसी अवेल्ड बट सब्सिक्वेंटली एट द एंड ऑफ द ईयर वेंडर रजिस्ट्रेशन वाज कैंसिल्ड। तो मैं आपको अजय जी ये बोलूंगा कि इस केस में आपको पहले तो सबसे पहले देखना इफेक्टिव फ्रॉम। कैंसिल्ड जो होता है वो ऑन एप्लीकेशन होता है, तो उस केस में तो क्रेडिट रिवर्स करना ही नहीं होता है। अगर सस्पेंडेड होता है तो आपको क्रेडिट रिवर्स करना होता है। फिर उसके बाद अगर आपकी परचेज है अक्टूबर 2024 और उसका रजिस्ट्रेशन कैंसिल तो हुआ मार्च 25 में, लेकिन इफेक्टिव फ्रॉम हुआ वो मान लीजिए जुलाई 24 से, तो उस केस में आपके ऊपर एक लायबिलिटी आ जाएगी क्रेडिट रिवर्स करने की। लेकिन वो इफेक्टिव फ्रॉम अगर वो मान लीजिए जनवरी 25 है तो, और परचेज हमारी अक्टूबर 24 की है, तो भी आपकी लायबिलिटी नहीं आती है। अब अगर मान लीजिए आपकी जो है वो आपकी परचेज है अक्टूबर की, आपकी परचेज अक्टूबर की और रजिस्ट्रेशन कैंसिल हुआ जुलाई 24 से, तो उस केस में आपको अब जो है वो एज पर दी ईकॉम गिल का जजमेंट है, आपका हिना मेडिकस का जजमेंट है, उन सारे जजमेंट में ये बोला गया देन द डिपार्टमेंट हैज टू प्रूव और यू हैव टू प्रूव कि दिस ट्रांजेक्शन वाज नॉट अ बोनाफाइड ट्रांजेक्शन। तो आपको क्या करना पड़ेगा, ई वे बिल दिखाने हैं, सब कुछ दिखाना है। और उस केस में सबसे पहले सप्लायर से टैक्स कलेक्ट करने की प्रोसेस होगी। अगर सप्लायर अवेलेबल नहीं है, आप स्टैंडिंग है, तो ही बायर का क्रेडिट रिवर्स किया जा सकता है। ऐसा करके ऑनरेबल डिसीजंस हैं, हाई कोर्ट्स के डिसीजंस हैं। अब वो आपको इमीडिएटली डिपार्टमेंट बोलेगा, अब आपको केस लड़ना है तो आप ट्रिब्यूनल तक जाइए, हाई कोर्ट तक जाइए, अल्टीमेटली कुछ ना कुछ रिलीफ हमें सबको मिलेगा। लेकिन एज ऑफ नाउ आप बोले कि डिपार्टमेंट रिलीफ दे देगा, आंसर है नो। लेकिन मैंने आपको दोबारा क्लैरिफाई कर दूं, जहां पर कैंसिल्ड रजिस्ट्रेशन है वो ऑन एप्लीकेशन होता है, सस्पेंडेड जो होता है वो डिपार्टमेंट के द्वारा होता है। तो कैंसिल्ड और सस्पेंडेड में डिफरेंस समझ लीजिएगा। इफेक्टिव डेट कौन सी है कैंसिलेशन की या सस्पेंडेड की, वो भी समझ लीजिएगा। फिर उसके बाद तीसरे सिचुएशन में ही आपकी लायबिलिटी आएगी।
Thank you, brother, for a wonderful deliberation. Now I request Rajesh ji, if anything
अगला
left.
क्वेश्चन है विनोद जी का।
अच्छा,
We have applied for surrender of GST registration, but application was not approved 6 months. Later on, application got rejected. Now, what? Whether we have to file the GST return? तो आपको जो है जी वो रिटर्न फाइल करनी पड़ेगी, या आप जो रिजेक्शन एप्लीकेशन है ना, आपको जो रिजेक्ट किया गया, आप उसकी अपील कर दीजिए। तो अगर आप अपील कर देंगे और अपील में अल्टीमेटली आप केस जीत गए, तो आपका रजिस्ट्रेशन कैंसिल हो जाएगा फ्रॉम अ डेट व्हेन यू अप्लाइड इनिशियली। तो उस केस में आपको लेट फीस नहीं लगेगी और आपको सेविंग हो जाएगी। अदरवाइज अगर आप उसको एक्सेप्ट कर लेते हैं रिजेक्शन ऑर्डर को, मीनिंग देयर बाय योर रजिस्ट्रेशन वाज ऑलवेज एक्टिव, इन दैट केस यू हैव टू पे द लेट फीस।
राजेश भाई, अतुल भाई को कभी कभी हेलो करने के लिए बुला लिया करो महीने में, इतना ज्ञान
श्योर सर,
मिलता है
श्योर
इनसे।
श्योर 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 सर, हम तो ऑलवेज सर को रिक्वेस्ट करते हैं और सर एक सेकंड में यहाँ कर देते हैं, दूसरे सेकंड बात ही नहीं।
ये
तो
बात तो
सर
मैंने
बहुत,
देखी।
हाँ सर, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर फॉर ए वंडरफुल डेलिब्रेशन ऑन द सब्जेक्ट। And I would like to disclose one more thing, particularly when he was the president, or I think he was the vice president, he introduced the automation of the ICI. So whatever we are able to pay our fees and doing all the filing the of the forms online, ये
पुरानी
अतुल जी
बातें हो
ही
गई
की
सर।
देन है सर। तो all
पुरानी
credit
बातें,
goes to Atul भाई।
कोई बात
तो
नहीं।
सर, I request Rajesh Jain ji, please ask your
तो मैं ये
question.
कह रहा था, एक जस्ट राजेश भाई साहब एक छोटा सा वो बता रहा था, अतुल जी आपको भी, कि एक अपना ना टूल भी बनाया है हम लोगों ने छोटा सा, जस्ट टू शेयर विद यू। तो बाद में कभी, अभी मैं ऐसे डिस्कस नहीं करना चाहता ऑन द प्लेटफॉर्म। तो अपने को मतलब काफी कुछ जो ऑडिट है ना, वो आजकल सिस्टम ड्रिवन हो गया है, कंप्लीट
जी
ऑडिट हो जाता है
सर,
सिस्टम
मेरे को
ड्रिवन।
आप उसका लिंक दे देना, मैं ना सबको शेयर कर दूंगा।
हाँ
तो
हाँ,
सब अपना उसमें कोई पंपलेट वगैरह हो तो वो शेयर कर देना, मैं आप सबको शेयर भी कर दूंगा, पीपीटी भी भेज ही देना।
ठीक है जी।
एंड इफ इट इज टू बी परचेज्ड वी डोंट माइंड।
सर इट इज
कोई नहीं, कोई नहीं।
अच्छा, ओवर टू जैन साहब, राजेश जी।
सर राजेश जी आवाज नहीं आ रही है आपकी ना।
आवाज नहीं आ रही,
अच्छा भाई लोग,
नहीं आ
आई विल
रही।
टेक लीव। थैंक यू वेरी मच अतुल जी, राजेश जी, थैंक्स फॉर द प्लेटफॉर्म। बाय, टेक केयर।
जैन जैन साहब, आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही, जैन साहब, जैन साहब। चलो हेमंत जी, हेमंत
जी
जी,
सर। हाँ जी सर।
ना आई रिक्वेस्ट प्लीज प्रेजेंट ए वोट ऑफ थैंक्स सर।
सर सर जी का थैंक यू तो जिस कैसे किया जाए वो ये है कि इन्होंने अपना कीमती टाइम निकाला और अमेंडमेंट्स के साथ साथ जो क्लोजिंग बुक्स का ऑडिट का जो नजरिया दे दिया इन्होंने, दैट इज अ वंडरफुल पार्ट। कि अमेंडमेंट्स तो आगे के लिए है, जो हमें अपना एक्चुअल में इम्प्लीमेंट करना ऑडिट के लिए, दैट ही हैज वांट ऑन क्वेश्चन की ये प्लान कर लो। और रूल 42 वाला तो इनका हैट्स ऑफ टू हिम। ये हमेशा इनकी क्वेरी में कभी ना कभी बीच में गूगल हो ही जाता है कि कहाँ से जो आंसर मैच करना मुश्किल होता है। तो वंस अगेन आई थैंक यू वेरी मच सर, एंड आपसे रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे प्लीज स्पेयर सम टाइम फॉर अस ऑन रेगुलरली सो दैट वी आर ऑन द राइट ट्रैक।